Hello, Dog TV. Joe Myers here, back with another Dog TV Chats. I am very excited for our two guests today, not just one, but this upcoming week, I want to tell you about some of the guests we have for the rest of this week and for next week. Tomorrow, we have Dr. Ross Henderson. He's the singing veterinarian. Check him out. An incredible guy and with a wonderful voice. And then the following week, we have Dr. Nicholas Dodman, formerly from Tufts University, talking about the science of dog TV. We have Dr. McGowan from Purina, one of Purina's head scientists, talking about separation anxiety, what you should do, how you should prepare your dog for when we have to leave our homes or when we have the opportunity to leave our homes. Denise Fleck from Gray Muzzle. If you have a senior dog or a dog who's aging, she has some wonderful tips and advice. And then if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, talking about CBD, everything you want to know from just sort of every detail from one of the nation's leading scientists in that area. Check out the episode that was yesterday. Dr. Trina has a wonderful episode. You might need a PhD to understand some of the stuff she's talking about, but I definitely felt educated during that process. But today, we're talking about products. We're talking about things to do to make your dog's life and your life easier during this time and during this season. So please welcome my first guest. She is a pet blogger. She's a veteran. She owns pet businesses, home boarding, creates pet events in Hawaii. Please welcome Bertha. Welcome.
Aloha. Welcome. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for being here. You're a pet blogger, a pet organizer for big events. You have a pet business owner. You're sort of in deep into the pet industry.
Yes, all about dogs here.
I love it. I love that you sort of bring a Hawaii perspective. You're also in Hawaii, so thank you for waking up so early today. For you to join us and be a part of this. So today we're talking about some products, some things that make your life easier as a dog parent and potentially can make our audience's life easier as a dog parent. So what is the first product, your first product recommendation for people to look into or consider?
I think that anything that stimulates the dog's mind is essential to have and will tire out your dog, which I'm sure a lot of them are probably antsy being at home so much.
Yep.
So everybody's heard of the Kong where you stuff peanut butter in it and everything. And it's fantastic, but they can be kind of messy. And so what I personally like are the products that dispense a treat. It's a little bit easier. I think the dogs get a little bit more exercise when the treats go kind of flying everywhere. So I'm particularly fond of like Kong. They have this one, it spins, the treats come out.
I love that.
These are fantastic. I really love.
So the dog's sort of like,
and you just buy the simple little treats.
So the dog like sort of you put the treats in there and the dog like.
Yeah, so they're kind of, I don't know if you can really see it, but there's this little hole right here. And so as the dogs are playing, they're spinning it around. They're trying to get as many treats as they can out, which is obviously the goal. And so it entertains them more so than if they were just licking, something and not really exercising all that much.
I love it. Thank you. And we have a guest a couple guests in the audience. Nancy, thank you so much. Wonderful. Check her out. She was a former guest. So I love guests coming back to say hi to new guests. It is amazing. And Cody says he needs that Kong. So check it out, Nancy. Go get that. And I also want to thank you for your service. Served in Afghanistan. So thank you so much for that. And now I love that you bring that expertise to the dog world. So thank you so much for that. Awesome. So Kong, spin it, have that ability to give your dog some activity. Do you put like his food in there or just treats?
You can do both. But the one thing about these is if your dog has a specific diet, it might be a little bit trickier to try to use this particular type of method to entertain your dogs.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you can use what they call like puzzles, and you hide the treats inside different ones, and then they have to find it themselves, and they pad at it, they'll lift it up, and then they'll be rewarded themselves. I think these ones are easier should your dogs have a specific diet where they can't just have any kind of treat. You can put their special treats in there.
Perfect. I like that. So they don't show they have the puzzles and they move them with their hand, like their paws and their nose, and move them. Do you switch
Right.
it up every day? Do you make like a new pattern every day, or you make it more challenging?
Yes. Sometimes I'll put a treat in all of them, or
Mm,
sometimes I'll just do it in a couple because you do want to obviously change it up so they don't get bored and they don't because it doesn't become a routine where they already know that it's already in there. They want to
yeah.
try to keep finding it. And there's different levels of these puzzles. So the ones that I just showed are beginner. There's other forms like this one here
Wow.
where they're gonna lift it, find it in there. Same concept, but these are definitely, I think, more entertaining because they have to find it. I think it's funny when I watch them try to do it, and also think it's great because you kind of watch their wheels turning in their
Yep.
head. And so I find it kind of funny, when they
Yeah, no,
have it.
that's certainly a fun way of like giving them treats or food in a way that's not just sort of a bowl, and making them a little more entertained during that process. Which I
Exactly.
think during this season, whenever all of our dogs are at home, giving them a little more something to do so they're not bothering you or are distracting you is a good thing to do.
Right, exactly. So,
Uh,
and then the other option is to have what they call a snuffle mat.
mm-hmm.
And this is made out of felt, and you hide the treats in there. And obviously, this one isn't very specific, so you can hide them anywhere on
Yep.
this one. And they really have to use their nose to search for them. And this is fantastic. You don't have to worry about too much of a mess, because they're just finding it in there. And same concept. They're working their minds, and that's exactly what pet parents want.
Exactly, it's enrichment. When are times do you use those during this time? Is it when you're like wanting to go on a walk, you know, to get out of the house and leave your dog for a couple hours? Is it when you're on a on a 7 a.m. Facebook Live for Dog TV? Like, what are the big times that you're using some of this technology?
Well, with the spin it one in particular, obviously you don't want to do that if you're on any Zoom calls or anything like that, because you're going to hear them scurrying around everywhere, and that could
Very
be a
much
little
so.
bit distracting. But definitely for these, I would say any time is really a good time, especially if you see that the dog is kind of antsy,
Hmm.
really needs something to do. Maybe they're not up to going for, the fifth or sixth walk of the day.
Yep.
Uh, at any given time, I try to spread it out throughout the day. So once again, it doesn't become a routine, and it kind of just always keeps them on their toes that you just don't know when I'm going to present something to you.
I
And
love it.
so here we go.
Very cool. And then, so you have all these amazing products, and you're also putting on a big event in Hawaii. Can you tell people about this sort of Pacific event you have going on? Tell people about it, details, and guess what? We are all going to need to go to Hawaii sometime soon. I think my boss is watching this. Like, I'll be there. That's the plan.
So in the fall, on October 10th, which is a Saturday, I am putting on a pet convention called Pets of the Pacific. And this convention is targeted to all pet owners and the pets that they love.
Hmm.
It has a little bit of everything. It will have pet business vendors there to interact with the community directly. They can make direct sales. Also, there's education panels to learn about a variety of topics
Hmm.
from a variety of professionals in the industry. And then we'll have interactive stations there to, take pictures because obviously we all love pictures of our pets.
For
And
sure.
so you have to have that with a touch of Hawaii in all
Hmm.
of it. And then, there's obviously samples to get, not to mention to get the products that are not normally found here in Hawaii.
Hmm.
Hawaii, we tend to miss out on a lot of stuff because we're so far away. We're one of the most isolated places in the world. So I like to bring it all here, show what the pet industry is really about to the pet community here of Hawaii.
Excellent. Where can people find more information about you and about Pets of the Pacific? Which I love the puns in the pet industry. It's a personal love of mine. I'm never going to leave. I don't know if any other industry uses so many puns, but where can people find out more information about you and then about the Pacific as well?
For me, you can follow me on Instagram at Aloha Dog Mom. And then for Pets of the Pacific, it's the same on Instagram, Facebook, or our website. It's at Pets of the Pacific or petsofthepacific.com.
Excellent. Check that out. I'll be there. That's the plan.
Yes.
we all need a Hawaii vacation after this, and what a perfect time. What a parific time to take a vacation to Hawaii. Well,
I think it's a possum time.
It's a possum time, 100%. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for waking up so early on this day. Any last minute tips or tricks for pet parents during this season?
If you can't get your hands on these products because of any type of closures that your states may be having, a really easy way to enrich your relationship with your dog is to teach them a trick. It's cost effective. You build your relationship. They're learning something, and you get to watch it all unfold.
Absolutely amazing. Well, head over to Hawaii. Be at the event. Hit me up when you're there. We all need a little sun and a little relaxation, and of course, a lot of dogs and pets. So thank you so much for being on there. We'll certainly check it out, and then we're going to add links to the products that she added. We'll add those in the comments after this show is live, so you can go check them out as well. Kong's a big friend of the show, so thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, Bertha. Thank you so much. Go check her out.
Mahalo. Mahalo. Aloha.
Aloha. I think I got it right. Bye, everybody. Well, we had one amazing guest, and now we have a second guest, which is a lot of fun. Please welcome Dr. Justine Lee. She's from Nat Geo Wild Animal ER Live. She's a double board certified emergency critical care vet, toxicologist. She's a founder of Vet Girl, which is an online veterinarian continuing education course. Please welcome Dr. Justine. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here. So today we're talking products. We're talking ways to keep our dogs distracted and educated and entertained and enriched during this season. What are your top recommendations? And maybe tell people a little bit more about you as well if I missed anything.
Sure. Well, you pretty much said it all. I've always wanted to be a vet since I was 7. And so it's been a lifelong dream. I am, like you mentioned, an emergency critical care veterinary specialist and toxicologist. So I'm not a typical veterinarian who does vaccines. I do emergency life-saving care, and I also deal with a lot of poisoning situations. And with everything going on with COVID-19, I know pet owners are home with their dog and cat more. And so important that we make sure they have environmental enrichment. I'm actually seeing some medical problems in cats from being cooped up with their pet owners 24/7. They want a break from us. As for dog owners, the amazing thing is I've been seeing a lot of neighbors walk their dogs more frequently. And honestly, we want to make sure they get that environmental enrichment. So love the fact that people are walking their dogs. So you had some great tips before. I generally say you don't have to get too fancy. You can get something as simple as a plastic water bottle. You should be using your own bottle, so we're saving the earth. But if you have plastic water bottles, make sure to take the lid and throw it away. And just the crinkling sound, the dogs love chewing on that. As a veterinarian, I'm more paranoid about toys because I see a lot of emergency surgery that costs thousands of dollars because people are giving their dogs toys and they're chewing off certain parts and it's getting stuck in their stomach or intestines, or it's fracturing their teeth. So I don't care what type of toy you use, but here are my general guidelines. I like ones that aren't dangly, so they don't have little pieces of fabric or string. This is especially important if you have a dog that loves to chew, because this can actually result in a linear foreign body. It gets wrapped around the base of the tongue. It gets wrapped around the stomach. It can actually saw through the intestines. So really, really long strands of string are a no-no. The other important thing is if it has hard plastic parts that are less than an inch, I always worry those are going to get swallowed and stuck in the intestines. So if it has a lot of small parts, moving parts, no good. I love chewable things because it keeps your dog entertained, but also scrapes away at some of the tartar, but you do have to be careful. So like I love my favorite toy, the Chuck It.
Oh, right? There it is.
Exercising your dog. You can see my tennis ball is quite well used. You don't have to buy the chuck it ball, but that's
Yep.
plastic. They actually have one for indoor throwing too. So if you're cooped up in Minnesota for 6 months out of the year, you don't want to toss your dog outside, or your dog doesn't want to go outside. They have the big orange ones that are made of cloth that you could throw around the house. So I love these. Make sure it's a fenced in area where your dog is safe. But these are fantastic. I also love this one. This was sent to me as a cat toy. It's made from like Nepali wool. I call it a mouse snake. It's designed to look like a mouse. You can find it on Amazon. It was meant for my cat, but my dog loves this thing. He loves to just throw it in the air. So honestly, I don't care what you use. Just make sure no dangly parts, no small plastic parts. The other thing I'm going to say is if you're giving your dog more treats, please make sure that you're taking away that amount in kibble. We don't want them to get the COVID-15, freshman 15, like we're all getting, right? Same with me. So exercise them more. Less snacks. If you are giving them treats or bones, make sure not to give them really hard bones. So the butcher bones that you get are too hard for your dog's teeth. They'll actually fracture your dog's teeth.
Oh, wow.
And so you want to make sure they're soft enough. And my general rule is you should be able to indent your thumbnail into the bone.
Okay.
If you can't, it's too hard. So cow hooves are way too hard. When in doubt, soak them in water first. We don't want to fracture the teeth. So again, those are my general rules when it comes to dog toys. Another thing that I love, because I'm an ultimate Frisbee player, is I love playing Frisbee with my dog. But if you've never started a dog on a Frisbee, you can't just start with a regular hard plastic Frisbee. 1 or 2 bonks in the head. Yeah, they're never going to chase it again.
I threw it and he was like, no, I'm good.
Yes. You always have to start with something softer. Okay. So soft plastic, let your dog explore it. And keep in mind, not all dogs like to play or fetch, and you can warm them up to it. You can train them to it. So my general rule, at least 2 15-minute episodes of exercise, so important, especially since we're home with our dogs more right now.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good rule for me as well. As well. I'd love to talk about a little bit on your co-host analyst on the Nat Geo Wild's Animal ER Live. Can you say maybe there's a behind the scenes or something that sort of happened on that show that you can sort of maybe spill the beans on?
Sure.
I know that's sort of a really cool, unique opportunity.
Yes. So it was such an honor to be a co-host. I had some amazing counterparts with Mark Steinis, who you probably remember from Entertainment Tonight decades ago. He was so fun to work with. He was amazing. And then my fellow colleague, Dr. Will Draper, who's based out of Atlanta, Georgia. He owns multiple general practices and urgent care centers in the Atlanta area. I'm going to fill you in on a secret. We had so much fun. And granted, what they were doing was Nat Geo Wild actually had camera crew out at 7 huge hospitals throughout the United States, both large animal and small animal. And one of them was where I actually trained at Angel in Boston. Wow. And, it only aired for 1 season, but we had so much fun doing it. And the biggest thing that we were all really passionate about was ways of preventing your animal or your pet from going into the ER to begin with. So to some viewers, it was a little too gory. We try not to make it gory at all, but there's a lot of easy things you can do from actually going to the ER. So I always say, when in doubt, keep your dog on a leash. Make sure your dog is obedience trained with at least 2 semesters of puppy obedience, even if they're an adult dog, because they always have to know the sit, stay, come command. And the down command. And if you can't reliably 100% have your dog come back to you when you say come, then you shouldn't have them off leash, right? And this time of the year is when I see the most car accidents in the spring. It's just getting nice out. I see a lot of dogs and cats getting hit by a car at Animal Emergency and Referral Center in Minnesota. You want to keep poisons out of the house. Grapes, raisins, sugar-free xylitol gum, chocolate, household poisons, over-the-counter pain medications. I see a poisoning case every single day at the animal ER vet. So these are easy ways of being able to prevent these problems. Spaying and neutering, so you don't have to pay several thousands of dollars for a C-section. So, that was really our passion and our mission with Animal ER Live, was just to help educate pet owners, keep your dog out of the ER to begin with.
Yes, I think that's good. Very preventative. It makes sense now in the spring because especially here in Minneapolis and Minnesota, it was so cold for so wild, and there's no way the dog's gonna go anywhere. He's like, it's warm inside.
Exactly.
Now it's like, oh, there's a squirrel, there's a friend. I'm gonna go head out. So
Right.
very important information. Can you tell everyone a little bit about Vet Girl and what the mission there is and what you sort of do there on that online platform?
Sure. So you can find more information at my own website, which is drjustinelee.com. That's really directed for pet owner education. And Vet Girl is actually a side project I did, 7 years ago. And it was really to help educate veterinary professionals. So veterinarians, veterinary technicians need about 10 to 20 hours of continuing education a year. So again, Vet Girl on the run.com is really meant for veterinary professionals. But I always say for dog and cat owners, when in doubt, go to my Dr. Justine Lee social media or a website. I also published 2 books, and they were designed to answer a question. They're a question answer format. So why does my dog eat grass? Why does my dog rub his bottom on my carpet? So questions you're almost too embarrassed to ask your veterinarian, but you can check those out at my website also.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your insight. And then I loved your we had one side of like really cool products and then another side of sort of like the things to look out for in products and things that you see maybe on Amazon, but you're like, we got to make sure that that's vet approved. Which is not a standard today.
Yes.
Sort of like if it can get approved and, it's,
it just takes one vet to say, sure, I'll use it. Right. So just because it's veterinary approved doesn't always mean it's safe. So when in doubt, check with your veterinarian. But again, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on your dog. They love a tennis ball. They love the chuck it. They love, a plastic bottle. Just make sure it's safe. Right. So you're not doing on a hot day and exercising them a lot. You're making sure the bottle cap is off. There's no plastic or string. It's not a treat that's too hard. So again, you can get creative at home. Super easy.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on this chat. Absolute pleasure. And check out her, drjustinelee.com, and on social as well. A wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me on Dog TV.
Very welcome. Thank you so much, everybody. And then the Dog TV recommended product for today is going to be Dog is Good. Right in time for Mother's Day. This is a product for dog moms, for dog dads. It really lets you show your best dog love. So head over to DOGSGood.com, check out their new gaiters, some of their new t-shirts and bags. There's some really clever, but also ways for you to really highlight your dog love. So head over to DOGSGood.com, get a product. These are the new things we woof about here at Dog TV. We're trying to bring you products that are ethically sourced, products that are approved, products that are part of associations, real genuine products for pet parents and for dogs. And for dogs as well. So check out DOGSGood.com, sort of our recommended product. The other ones were for your dog, but this one's for you as a pet parent. We'll have a wonderful day. We'll see you back here tomorrow with Dr. Ross Henderson, the singing veterinarian, right here on Dog TV Chats. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll talk soon.